Welcome to The Green Light. I'm your host, Shayla Nice, and thank you for tuning in. Today's guest is PR professional Maya Hood, and we have such a good conversation ahead. So, during our talk, we really talk about her journey as a PR and marketing professional, as well as how even one of the networking events we attended, how it led us to crossing paths and connecting, and really just the power of networking and beyond. And so ways to support this show is, of course, liking, sharing, but also leaving a review wherever you're listening to the show. So without further ado, let's get into the conversation with Maya Hood. Okay, so I'm super excited to speak with PR professional Maya Hood and to chat about her start in the industry, what she's feeling about today's industry, and just basically like her origin story. And so thank you so much, Maya, for saying yes to the show. And I'm curious to know, like, what made you become a PR professional and just really get into that type of industry?
Yeah, so I think that PR and marketing was always a safety net for me. My foundation is actually in journalism. So I knew that I wanted to go on and work in music and entertainment journalism, but I'm big on like strategy. And so I wanted to make sure that I had longevity in the industry. And I think that marketing and PR was like the best way to do that because I could combine all of like my talents and my skills, being really good at networking, being good at strategizing and coming up with different plans to do things. And then it also became a good way for me to kind of bridge the gap of opportunity. It's helped me find opportunities for myself and then other people as well. I'm not technically a mentor, but I've always wanted to kind of help other people, find different opportunities because it's definitely hard.
Right, absolutely. And then I feel like being in like communications, there's so many different umbrellas that like you can get into this field. So like
hmm
is your specialty like in the music industry or the entertainment industry? Like what's your focus?
It's definitely a little bit of both. Entertainment was the like big umbrella, but music is something that I just naturally love. And so I've always just wanted to make sure that I was always working in music in some capacity. It started with like, I love going to concerts. So I'm like, maybe I'll work in live music, entertainment, or maybe I'll do events and different things like that. But I have since then found a home in management, and that was kind
Ooh.
of like a piggyback off of representing people in PR and music. And so I'm kind of doing a lot of things right now, but it's all exciting.
Absolutely. Like and like you as a business owner, you are wearing many hats. Do you
Mhm.
have a team to support you?
I do not have a team. Here and there,
Wow.
I'll take on volunteers. And I would love to have a team in the near future, God willing. But at this point, I'm appreciating kind of learning how to have my hand in all of these different things. I think as an executive, if you want to be a director, CEO, or anything, it's really important to understand all the different operations of every part of the business.
Right, and I love like you're sharing the beginning stages of this industry and where
Mhm.
you are now. When you are considering clients for your agency or even artists to manage, what do you look for to let you know that you made a good fit or this is the right fit for you in the business?
For sure. Personally, I think that self-awareness is at the top of that because if you don't know who you align with, then it's very easy to attract kind of anything. And I am a type of person that I can work several rooms, and so any you kind of attract any type of person. But alignment is very important to me. So having that discipline, if you aren't very disciplined and these are things that you learn to pick up on quickly. Being intentional about your time, being intentional about the events that you go to. And then in Atlanta, there's something going on every single day. So
Yes.
you absolutely have to pick and choose what is more aligned with the result that you're trying to obtain, the goal, and all of that. So being choosy, being specific, and kind of vetting out people that aren't in alignment with like your day to day habits and routine.
Right, absolutely. That's good. Good advice. When you spoke about Atlanta, it made me think that last year at Essence Girls United Summit, that's how we met.
Yeah,
I think we were in line for like the networking um event, like it was like the space
the
where
office hours,
we
I
were
think it
talking to
was.
like the office hours. That's what's it called.
Mhm.
Yeah, with all of like these professionals and all these
Yeah.
areas in the industry, and I was like, we just connected so well. And so,
Yeah.
can you speak about the importance of going to events like that are kind of career focused? Like, how do you maximize the time at those events?
Absolutely. So I try to, first of all, I love going to these events by myself. And that I wanted to make point of that because a lot of people hold themselves back because they're like, I don't have a content creator partner or I don't have, somebody to go to these things with. But going by myself has been like very beneficial because I get to have these different conversations and people are so like ready and thirsty to collaborate or find out what it is that you do or can I can promote you. What do you have going on? And so just being open to meeting the different people and hearing what they have to say. I definitely that event specifically, I walked away with a lot of different things like connections. We did
Right,
the speed networking, which was really good. I got to talk to the CEO of Essence Ventures, Aaliyah May, like just different people, music executives. It was really good. And then in that capacity, we also were next to like-minded individuals. I think we had
right,
some moments where we talked to somebody together as well. So just kind of being like that iron sharpening iron type of environment.
right.
I'm very big on like just continue to go to those. I was upset I didn't get to go to the one this year.
Right, yeah. And I was like, and I love that you made a point of not being afraid of going to these type of spaces by yourself. And it's kind of like it's always like an ongoing conversation I see on social media of like if people travel alone or they're eating alone at a restaurant, like there's a sense of fear or a sense of like,
Hmm.
I don't know, like it's just sometimes people can get anxiety about being alone and going alone, but
Hmm.
are you jumping at those type of opportunities to just put yourself out there,
All
or
the
is it, or
time.
do you get
All the
nervous?
time.
Okay, same,
And you
yeah,
know what?
absolutely.
I'm not gonna say that I don't have pushback. I think that it's very temporary for me, but to say that I never like get in my head about it, it would definitely be untrue. I get nervous because you don't know what to expect. But
Right,
leading with just like, I'm not gonna fill my head with, oh, I'm not gonna meet anybody or it's not gonna be a good event. Like instead of just filling my head with different things like that, I just, pivot to the fact that if I'm going and I have these interests and I have these skills and this experience, then why wouldn't I align and meet with all of these other people that are intentionally putting themselves in this room?
absolutely, yeah, I totally agree. I was like, and I always try to have a goal of like connecting with at least 2 or 3 people. Like I want to track
Yeah,
some, I want to capture your social handle or something just so that
yeah.
I can like keep that going. So that's good that you also feel the same. So I want to talk about like your hometown, and how you're not a Georgia native. So what made you move to Atlanta?
Um, okay, well, for one, I spent 5 years in the South. I went to school in Nashville and then I had
Okay.
gotten a job opportunity. So I ended up moving back to Chicago for 5 years. But I would say around like the third year, I started getting really antsy. And I'm like, it's time to shed some skin. Like, I won't say that I'm like always on to the next. But I am one of those people, I
Mm,
don't like for my years to look the same. And eventually, if I
wow.
feel a little bit too stagnant, then I'll get to strategizing on the next move. And so, knowing the different things that I wanted to, I started building my portfolio in Chicago. There's some really good like videographers and photographers that I started working with. And I started like writing scripts for like music videos. And then that added on to something that like, girl, this is not what you said you were going to be doing, but like, okay, let's keep it going. But knowing that everything was going on in Atlanta, and when I say like, there's always an event. I think Revolt was one of the first events that like caught my eye, and I'm like, I need
Okay.
to be there. I need to be in the building. And I went to the one in 2022, and by 2023, I was like, I'm moving to Atlanta, and it needs to happen like
Wow.
ASAP. I'm ready to do it because I saw the difference. And I'm not big on comparing, but I absolutely saw the difference in like the environment, the creative scene. And granted, Chicago has a very great creative scene, but celebrities don't like to come to Chicago. I get it. It's cold,
Wow. Yeah.
so there's not always a lot of different events going on to where I could like seize an opportunity every weekend if I wanted to. And when you're young, I just believe that, you shouldn't be in the house too much. It's okay to be I'm a homebody,
Right.
but you should definitely be out meeting people, and that's how you find people that want to collaborate with you. That's how you build your portfolio and add to your network.
Absolutely. So for Atlanta, did you have family members or friends already here, or you were just by yourself from the beginning?
Yes, I do have I have a few first cousins from Atlanta. They've been here all their lives. And then I have some college friends that moved down here as well. So I had a few people,
Right.
and then in Atlanta everybody's everywhere. So um
Yes.
it was just like, I'm not moving down here expecting for you guys to like be, codependent or anything like that. But I did feel like I had support if I needed to call anybody. But overall, I'm like, I'm out here, like I'm doing it, and whatever happens, happens.
Oh, that's amazing. Yeah, because like sometimes like I don't know, sometimes we may need like security nets. Like, okay, if I move somewhere big, will I have someone I know or can lean on? And then sometimes it's like you don't have that, so it's good that you did. While you've been in Atlanta, do you see yourself on to the next soon, or like you're gonna stay a little, spend some more time here?
I'm gonna spend some more time here. I like Atlanta. I feel like it's way too soon, even though years fly by, but it's way too soon to
Right.
say that I'm on to the next. And being from Chicago, like obviously Atlanta has really, really grown, and I love that. It's hard to be like, where am I going next? I don't think that New York is ever gonna see me as so I'm
Okay.
just like, I like Atlanta. I appreciate everything that I have learned thus far, the people that I've met. So I'm staying down for a little bit longer.
Awesome. I love to hear it because I know people was like, we don't have no more room in Georgia. I was like, yes, we do. They're always building something like
There's
the
plenty
next building.
room,
Like we
okay?
do.
Yeah,
So much room. Yeah, for
plenty
sure.
room.
And so like, earlier in our conversation, you mentioned, your business of how, you manage, but you also have like the agency side. So can you talk about Pioneers Creative Agency?
Absolutely. That is my baby. So it started off as just strictly advertising and public relations, brand management, and like strategy and planning. And then I'm like, okay, how can I find a way to make sure that I'm doing all of my passions as well, which includes writing? And research is very important because, like we were saying earlier, in communications, there's so many different lanes that you can be in. And so to
Right.
say that, like, even 3 or 4 years ago, I knew that I could like be writing treatments and scripts for music videos or short films, and then I would then find artists, singers, rappers, people in the music industry that would need writing. I think that being a writer is so like under underappreciated, and then a lot of people don't know like
Yeah.
what to do with it until it's like, okay, well, I want to do this, I have this idea, but I don't know who to kind of outsource for that. And so being really good at coming up with strategies and managing, and I've helped manage models, I've helped manage music artists, singers, and rappers. I'm helping them with their strategy, social media, digital marketing, and things like that. But then I'm on the other end. If you have these songs and you want to create music videos, I absolutely have some ideas for you. So let's try to combine all of that. And then I like to host events. So down the line, I hope that I
Wow.
can
Yeah.
find a team that their focus is events and different things like that so that we can kind of combine all of that.
That's amazing. And like and to your point, it is like people underappreciate, or they don't think that, like, if you have a passion for writing or that type of like creative space, that there's no like space for you, and there absolutely is. I think when we think about like artists or just entertainment in general, we always think about people who are in front of the camera, but not
Hmm.
all the moving parts behind like that team, or how,
Exactly.
or that brand. And so I love that, like, no matter what, writing is to your core.
Yeah, and I'm not
Yeah.
gonna lie.
And so with, yeah.
I was just gonna say,
Oh, go ahead. I'm
a lot of
sorry.
people do. No, you're fine. A lot of people do assume that like being in front of the camera is like my main priority, and for me, it's like no. I very much enjoy being the brain and being behind the scenes and kind of directing and different things like that. So I try to make it a point to like this is more of my scene.
Right. And with your agency, I guess, like, I'm so curious about like being a manager of another talent. Is it always like a hustle to find the next gig or the next opportunity for them? Like, how are you able to like balance not only your personal life and your personal goals, but also theirs as well? Like, can you talk about that type of balance?
Yeah, it's juggling for sure. And I've never been good at juggling. It was never even the yo-yo. I was never good at doing
Oh
things like
no.
that. But but I think that social media has helped it a lot. Social media, having that strategy and having different creative abilities and like talents. Like I always have a different idea to do, and that kind of helps me to not always have to be on the phone and always attending to things because a lot of things are happening as we're producing this content or putting these things out there.
Right.
um and it is a hustle. I think that all of it is a hustle, though. Nothing outweighs the other. Working on my personal brand is definitely always like that's at the forefront because wherever I go, I am the brand. But like for example, when I set up my link tree, you'll see my artist Apple Music and his Spotify link on my link tree, and every part of like when I'm representing myself, I'm representing Pioneers PR and I'm representing my clients as well. And the aspect of like working with clients that are in alignment with you. He just so happens to be from Chicago and he just so happens to have moved to Atlanta as well. But he's finding a lot of success.
Nice.
He's actually been down here a lot longer than I have. Um, so that alignment aspect that I talked about is very important to kind of have the similar goals. We have a similar story. And it just helps to, we're all on the same page. So at the end of the day, we're promoting the same thing, same storyline, same narrative.
Absolutely. And you just mentioned your client. Is he a rapper or an R&B singer? Like,
He
what's
is a rapper, yes. His name is
okay?
OGDC.
OGDC, nice. Okay, so you are managing a young rapper. Have you ever been in spaces or rooms where you felt like, because the rap industry is a male dominated industry, do you feel like you have to like always be on top of your things to like make sure you're always taken seriously, or like or not? Like, have you felt like you
Mhm.
always been able to command a room? Like, how have you felt in those type of spaces?
That's a really good question. I'm not gonna lie. I definitely, when it comes to working, I am very serious. Now, my friends and family will tell you that I am a very like silly person. I love to laugh.
Yeah.
They're like, I can't take you serious. But when I am working, it's very much, and I'll still smile. I'll still be, very nice. I do command rooms though. It's very important for me and the people that I'm working with to know that I take this very serious. I am very anal about my time and my energy, and I don't do anything
Right.
halfway. You know what I'm saying? So I expect that same respect. I know that in that industry they are very lax because they have this creativity that they're leading with. But it is important to acknowledge the brain and the strategy and the planning that goes into making that creativity successful and seen. So
Right.
I'm never intimidated. I'll say that I'm always like, this is
Okay.
this is work, and we're here to do a job, and I do my job very well. So
Absolutely. Period. I love that. And so, and with and you mentioned how like people may ask you for like mentorship or advice often. Like, do you have your own mentor? Do you?
I do not. I would like to have. I have mentors in my head. That's why I keep attending these different events. And
Nice.
luckily, yeah, like hearing them speak on the panels or like doing the speed networking and stuff like that. They're quick to say, connect with me on LinkedIn, and I will like go and pick brains and ask like little questions here and there. I think that and I feel like having a mentor, there's no like age limit on it. So if there is ever an opportunity in the future for me to get a mentor, I'll always be open to that. I'm open to it now, but just kind of looking at the people that are in align with the different things that I like to do, and they have success. They've been in that field for however long. I just kind of look at what they're doing and where they are, if they are on a panel or if they're doing anything where they're speaking about their journey, I'm there always.
Right, that's how I feel too. I feel like I have mentors in my head and just people I admire from afar. I would love to have like that type of one-on-one mentor, and not even like they don't even have to be like in the same path or the same field, but like if
Yeah,
you are 10, 15 years older than me, I would love to like, have that type of influence. So yeah, I totally agree
yeah,
with you.
for
Yeah, we're all
sure.
kind of looking for that type of like guidance and just kind of like just like that person to just have support
Yeah,
in our corner for us.
yeah.
Yeah. And so, with our conversation, I always want to like, impart wisdom and inspiration to the next listener who wants a similar career as yours. So could you share tips with us for finding job opportunities in the
Mhm.
PR and marketing space? Like, is this industry really all about who you know? Like, speak to that for us.
um, I'd say that who you know is a big part of it. But I think that research is very important, and just also communication. So what I mean by that is if there is a role that you can identify that you like, because it's hard for me to like be put into a box. So if you are one of those people, you know
Right.
that you want to do social media marketing, you know that you want to do artist relations, then look at some companies that are really good at that. They don't have to be even a big company. They could be a startup. They could be, 10 years in, whatever the case may be, and research the employees. Go on LinkedIn and try to connect with them, reach out to them, and let them know. Even if you feel like you're not ready for that role, just pick their brains and find out what it is that you need to do to become ready for it, or who you need to speak to if you are ready for it. And then the other aspect is just networking and getting out to these different
Right.
events. If there is a PR agency that's throwing an event, and it may not even be of your interest, but that's your opportunity to go to their events and see what they're doing and meet their employees. networking is absolutely a big aspect of it, but just putting yourself out there and not being afraid to communicate, I have this experience or I want to gain this experience. And then lastly, create the opportunities that you want for the job that you want. So if you do
Wow.
not find that role that you want, start building your own portfolio, start making your own samples. If you want to be a writer, create a blog. If you want to work in film, find your people so that you can start creating short films or reels and skits and different. There's so many different opportunities. So until that role meets you, you make sure that you're creating and doing what it is that you want that's aligned with where you want to be.
Oh my gosh, that was such a bar. You like drop the mic. I love this so much. Thank you for sharing that. And that's so good. Like, if you don't see the content that you want, be the content. That was my takeaway from what you said.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I so enjoyed our conversation, Maya. Thank you so much for saying yes to the green light. And before I let you go, I always ask guests to share 2 songs from any genre that best represent your personality. So let me know your picks.
Whew. Okay. Number 1 is going to be Everybody Needs Love by Marvin Gaye. And number 2 is It's Turning 25 by G Herbo.
Ooh. I like the contrast of like the vibe.
That's how my shuffle works. But those are definitely like 2 songs if I could pinpoint like my heart and my spirit in life, in the industry, everything, it's those 2 for sure.
Oh, those are good. Yeah, it's gonna be perfect for the season 2 playlist. So thank you for sharing your fave songs. So thank you so much once again, Maya, and that's a wrap. If you love today's guest and our Greenlight Convo, please tell someone, your mama, daddy, cousin, sister, brother, auntie, uncle, about the show, and we're going to look out for the next episode.